Ready for a deep dive into a love story that's touched millions? We're jumping into I Too Had a Love Story by Ravinder Singh. Get our excerpts, reviews, all that good stuff. And honestly, the first thing that struck me, it's like reading someone's diary, raw, honest, no filter.
That immediacy, it's powerful. Singh's narrative voice just pulls you in. He's sharing those vulnerable parts of himself, and it resonates.
Totally. From page one, we're right there with him, navigating online dating or, well, matrimonial sites, late-night calls, modern love, but very much rooted in Indian culture, which is fascinating.
Exactly. It reflects a society in transition. Ancient traditions like arranged marriage bumping up against the digital world. Super interesting to see how that plays out.
You mentioned Shadi.com, which caught my eye. That's a real site, right, for finding a spouse?
Oh, absolutely. And including, it isn't just about being realistic. It speaks volumes about young Indians embracing tech to find love while still dealing with those cultural expectations.
It's that push and pull between tradition and modernity. And you see it not just with technology, but in how Ravinder interacts with his family, too.
Absolutely. Family dynamics are huge in Indian culture. The excerpts really get into that, the traditions, the expectations, that pressure to find a partner who fits within those norms. It's real.
And you sense Ravinder longing for something more, a love that goes beyond those boundaries.
Yes, and that's where this whole modernity versus tradition thing gets even more interesting. It's not black and white. He's trying to find his own path, caught between two worlds. That's got to resonate with so many people, not just in India.
Right, especially when you consider those mentions of Europe, the U.S. Like, his story taps into something universal about searching for love, identity, in a world that's constantly changing.
100%. That's why this book has found such a huge audience. It gets at the heart of modern love, the challenges of figuring out where you fit in when everything's in flux.
And it does all that while feeling incredibly personal. Like there's that scene, Ravinder and Kushi are stuck in traffic, pouring rain.
Oh, I remember that one.
She's scared of getting home late, but the way he reassures her, it just gets you. These small moments, they pack such a punch.
It's the emotional depth of it. Not grand gestures, but those tiny acts of understanding support. That's what really gets to you.
It's the small moments, like you said, that build into something real. And Singh captures them with such honesty. It's powerful.
No holding back. You see the anxieties, the doubts, even frustration alongside the joy, the passion. That's what makes it so relatable,
Reading these reviews, it's clear how much this book resonated in India. Critics praising its authenticity, how it captures modern love, but specifically within that cultural context.
It's a cultural touchstone, absolutely.
Yeah.
Singh's tapped into something really specific about this generation, grappling with these huge shifts, tradition, modernity, finding love in this rapidly changing world. It started a conversation, that's for sure. What does it mean to find love on your own terms while still honoring your heritage? Big questions.
Even bigger when you factor in that ending. The reviews, the synopsis, they all hint at it. Singh doesn't shy away from loss, from grief.
Not at all. The title itself, I Too Had a Love Story, it's right there. Past tense. This love, it's ended. But there's that celebration, too, the impact it had.
That's a good point. It's like he's saying, I lost this, but it was real, it mattered, and it still shapes me.
Exactly, and that's what elevates this. It's not just a romance. It goes deeper into those raw emotions, the power of love, even when it's tinged with tragedy.
Speaking of impact, I noticed a mention of a second book. So Ravinder's story, it doesn't end here.
You picked up on that. It seems Singh's interested in exploring what comes after a love like this. Can you find love again after such a loss? How do you heal? How do you move on? It makes you think.
That's another layer to it all, right? We talk tradition versus modernity, but there's this other tension, too. The pull of the past, the possibility of a future.
For sure. And that's something so many people connect with. Loss or no loss. That courage to open yourself up again, even when it feels impossible.
Revisiting these excerpts, the reviews, it's amazing how much I Too Had a Love Story sparks conversation, makes you really think it's an experience, not just a story.
Yeah, and that's what makes these deep dives so interesting, right? Going beyond just the book itself, it's these bigger questions it brings up. Love, loss, what it means to be human, all of it.
Exactly. We've talked about the Indian cultural context, but I Too Had a Love Story. It goes beyond that. How tech affects relationships, love in a world that's always changing, holding on to hope even when it hurts. Those are universal.
Love stories don't always have happy endings, do they? Sometimes they're messy, they're complicated. And yeah, sometimes the ones that end sadly, those are the ones that stick with you the most. It's true. Even the title, I Too Had a Love Story. It challenges how we think about these things. Love can be in the past. And even then, its impact, it stays with you.
Makes you think, how do we really cherish those moments with the people we love, knowing that nothing lasts forever? That's something we all deal with, I think.
Absolutely. And for me, that's the sign of a great book. It stays with you, makes you reflect, understand yourself, the world a little better. I, too, had a love story. That's what it does. Love, loss, connection, all the messy beauty of it, and finding hope, even when things are tough. That's what it's about.
This deep dive, it's been quite the journey, emotional for sure, but we covered so much. Culture, those universal themes, and wow, the power of love in all its forms. It's a book that makes you think, and isn't that what we're all here for?